All right. So we thought that it would be interesting to share some of our background and how we got involved in doing this kind of work. So, Diane, how did all of this get started for you? How did you come to find out that you could channel? Tell us about how this all came to be.
Well, okay. Actually, I was born this way. No, that's a subject. But I was always an unusual child, where I questioned everything, and I have to say, organized religion to me didn't make sense at the time. So I just was exploring different avenues, and even as a child, I was reading Nostradamus. I was exploring things that probably a normal child wouldn't explore. Aliens, UFOs. So anyway, life goes on, and one day, and I was always interested in this kind of work, but and psychic mediums and everything else I would follow. But one day, I just long story short, I had a woman come up to me and pointed at me and said, "You're going to be doing this," and I'm like, "Who are you, and what am I going to be doing?" And she proceeded to tell me that she was a medium, a psychic, and that she was being told to tell me that I would be doing this work, and that's what I'm here for, is to do this. And I was like, okay, that's really interesting, but no, this is not what I really want to be doing. I'm shy. I really don't want to be out there and put myself in that position and be responsible for people. And she said, "Oh, don't worry. This is going to be what you're doing." So.
How old were you?
At that point, well, I was not young. At that point, I was in my late 20s, I would say. I'm aging myself now. But yeah, and we're talking about the mid-80s at this point. So she did approach me again and told me that there was a group that was meeting. I lived in California at the time, and there was this group of people that would meet once a week at this woman's house. She would open up her house, and people would come, just anybody who felt the need to be with like-minded people. Again, back in the mid-'80s, this was a little unusual. So she eventually talked me into going. I said, okay, I'll just go, but I'll observe. I'm not going to participate. I'll just watch because it sounds interesting. So I did go, and it was fascinating because we had people there from all walks of life. She had an open door policy. If you wanted to come, you just showed up. Word of mouth, people started coming from all over the place. We had people from LA, from Canada. People would just hear about this and start coming in. So it was really an interesting time. And people would come in, and I have to say, there were professional people that were there because they were, doing these things and were spiritual, but just you couldn't, in their profession, couldn't necessarily talk about it. So they would come there and be able to do their work and share it with like-minded people. So it brought many interesting people. People would come in and they'd be healers, they'd be doing healings, they'd be doing channelings, they'd be doing, whatever, modality that they had. And so everybody shared, and it was just a really nice time. Just as a little aside, it was kind of funny because, once a week I'm going to this house, and I would basically, we would kind of kid and say, "Oh yeah, we're going to a Tupperware party." I mean, that was our cover at that time because it was just still a little out there at that point. So anyway, so we would do that, and I would go and I would observe, and I was not sharing, I was not doing anything, I was just watching. And I had many people coming and saying, "Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you participating? You're supposed to be doing this." And people would kind of be pressing me to just start working and doing the work I was supposed to be doing, which was supposed to be, channeling or mediumship or whatever it is. They're saying, "You have the information. Why aren't you sharing it? Why aren't you giving it?" And again, I was just like, "No, I can't. I'm just too shy. I don't want to talk. I don't want to do this." So time went on. Finally, they came to me and they said, "There really is somebody we need you to go see, that somebody we want you to meet." So they had this Native American gentleman that they knew in Sedona. And so I thought, what an adventure. Sure, I'll do it. So I went to Sedona, and I met this wonderful man who just really talked to me. And I remember he took a little group, and we went to Canyon de Chelly, and we were just meditating on Canyon de Chelly. And he was talking to me about the work I should be doing and opening up to it. And I was like, well, I don't know that that's what I really want to be doing. And he said something to me that really made sense. He said, "You are very egotistical." And I'm like, "No, it's just the opposite of that. My ego is, I don't want to be out there. I don't want to put myself out there." And he's like, "No, your ego is getting in the way of what your work should be doing." So he basically said that I was allowing my ego to stop me from doing the work I'm supposed to be doing because of the fact that I was making it about myself. Mm-hmm. And he said, "It's not about you. This has nothing to do with you. You have information. We know you're getting it, and you should be giving that and helping people. So put your ego aside let that go. This is not about you. This is not your responsibility. Just do the work, and that just hit me. That just hit me as like, you know what? That's probably true and it makes sense. So from there, I just opened up to it. I allowed the information that I always got, but I always thought everybody got. I just didn't know that not everybody got this information. I kind of just was, all my life, just had this, and I just thought that that's what people did. So that's why I didn't think it was anything that different than anybody else.
It's always been with you.
Yes, it's always been there, and I just didn't, realize that. I didn't recognize it as being anything different than anybody else. That everybody got this information. So anyway, long story short, not really, but anyway, to continue, so I just said that okay, I'll open up to it. So I started actually doing the work, started giving the information I was getting. People started coming to me and started, I was finding that the information they were getting was helping them, so that was great. From there, I decided that I became very interested in past life regressions at that point in time. So I started delving into that a little bit and started working on that. And back in the day, Dick Sutphin was one of the past life regressionists, the head of doing that at that time. And he was out of Sedona, and he was a wonderful man and was having seminars and teachings. And so I started following him and working with him. And I thought it was very interesting because it was actually so interesting to go to a past life and see a past life and explore that. But back then, that's what it was. It was just exploring and seeing a past life and looking at it. And as I went through time doing that, over the years, I realized that started to explore other modalities and seeing what was out there, of course. And I then came across Dolores Cannon's QHHT, Quantum Healing Hypnosis Therapy, and that was really made sense to me because not only did you see a past life, but you tapped into it enough to get healings from it and to explore where something in this lifetime you might have taken with you from another lifetime. And at a soul level, it's there. It stays there. And it could be bothersome in this lifetime. It'd be a block for you in this lifetime. So I found it fascinating that you can actually take a past life and do something with it, and have it actually be a modality of healing, of learning and of growing, in this lifetime to help you. So I love that, tapped into that, and then just started working, doing the QHHT work. And so that's that part of it. And then as far as the mediumship and the information I was getting, I was realizing that as I was doing my work, that I was...
Like through clients?
Through clients. I was working with clients, the QHHT work, and started realizing that I was getting a lot of information that was coming through for them that, was being given to me, and I was keeping to myself because I felt that, I don't want to interrupt the session and let them, do their session. And then I was being told by them, quote, that if we're giving the information, you might want to share it with them because it might be helpful to them to just fill in some of the blanks or, to answer some of their questions they might have, So they said it might be helpful, so try it. So I thought, okay, I will do that. I'll start trying that. So I started doing that, and it just seemed to be, something that clients were enjoying, to have that extra little bit of information to help them and to make them maybe understand a little more about the life they saw, and understanding a little bit more about their lives.
Yeah, because at some point it seems like when there are beings that are interested in a particular issue or topic or situation, it seems like other beings will take part in the session and give you information at times.
That's very correct. That's very correct. It all depends really on the subject and working with the client the client and their guides. But the information, if I'm just giving a straight channeling of information, there will be. And what I've been told, and I'll share this, what I've been told is that there's going to be a core group of guides that are Heather's guides, and then a group that's my guides. And they have decided to come and help us with this project. They're very interested in it. They'd like to share it with us and be with us. So there's this core group, and then others will come and go. So, it depends on the subject matter or, the information that needs to be given. So that's what I've been shown, that we have two core groups, and then others will come and go as needed and give the information as necessary.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exciting. Well, thank you so much for sharing that part of your story.
Sure.
So I stumbled on Dianne, as I mentioned in our previous video, wanting to exchange sessions. We both do quantum healing work. And when I had my session with her, I was absolutely blown away. She's very humble about it. She's very humble about her gifts. She doesn't like to, she's very, well, she's just very humble about her gifts, and she doesn't think it's a very big deal because she's always kind of had this gift of, conversing with higher guidance and beings. So it's very normal for her. But when I had my session and she was able to bring forward all of this amazing information to help me understand the life that I was seeing, to help me to understand different issues that I was having. For me personally, when I went into hypnosis, I had trouble actually connecting with the higher self portion of the session. And she was able to channel the information for me to get the answers to my questions. And it was profound. The stuff that came through just really absolutely knocked my socks off. And she, she has a really amazing gift being able to converse with, with beings, with the beyond. I don't know what to call it. And so for me, I was really, really interested in, well, why are you not sort of doing this on a bigger scale? Why are you not sharing this more with other people? And so my personal background, I am what most people would call an empath. I have, I feel things, and that's sort of how I sense and how I use my gifts. I'm a very powerful empath, and my spiritual awakening story was a little different. I remember being a child and being very, very connected and tapped in. But then really, I would say that life got the better of me, and I became pretty brainwashed in the system and was just, pretty much turned off anything esoteric and special, and wanted to really fit in. Like Dianne was saying about herself, I was a different child, unique, definitely a starseed. You can absolutely tell that I'm an odd little duck, but in a good way. But my goal was to really just to try to be normal. I didn't understand really what was going on here on this planet, and all I knew was that I really just didn't like being so weird. And so my goal was to be normal, and so I just did the normal 9 to 5 job, picket fence, normal family. I just really wanted to kind of blend in. And it was about 8 or 10 years ago that I learned about what was going on with our food system, that I started to learn about the current political environment and the, the situation here on our planet. But at that time, I really wasn't aware of ETs or, really the big picture of what was happening here on the planet. I wasn't awake to all of that, and I definitely wasn't awake to being a powerful spiritual being having a human experience. I just, was pretty deeply ingrained in what we would call the matrix. They kind of had me. So I, probably about a year ago, I had, actually I was learning about orgone pyramids, and somehow from there that led into other things that woke me up the rest of the way. And it was at that time that I really discovered who I was. It was kind of like all of the information all came flooding back, and I woke up just like, wow, oh my goodness, I can't believe I was sleeping for this long. I couldn't believe it. And all of the information, started really coming back to me. And it was at that time that I sort of set out on a mission. I would almost call it being a little obsessive, doing metaphysical research and really trying to put the pieces together. Okay, what is going on here? Who am I? What am I doing here? And what does this all mean? And what is my part to play? So I really woke up to that, and really my interest in this project is I am a truth seeker. I am a student of the universe. I am hungry for knowledge and for truth, and I want to share that knowledge and that truth with anyone who is willing to listen. I absolutely love Dianne, and she has a beautiful gift, and I want to support her and feeling like she's able to share the knowledge that she gets with others. And so my role in this is to just assist and be morally supportive to sort of bringing her gifts and her knowledge out to the world, and just sort of facilitating that for her, and using the breadth of knowledge that I have to come up with interesting topics that we can sort of gain some more insight on, and just bring insight and clarity to the planet.
Perfect. Absolutely. Yeah. So together, we think we're a good team.
Yeah.
We think we're a good fit, and we just knew that instantly. So, we're looking forward to starting this project and working together, and also working with all you guys. We're really interested in what you have to say, what you have, questions you might have, as Heather said, and this isn't just about us. This is about all of us.
Mm-hmm.
We're all in this together. So let's all come together and let's explore. Let's explore together.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're wanting from this project. Is we are really wanting to start a community here. We're wanting to start a community, and we're wanting to pool together, and we want to hear from you. We want to know what kinds of questions should we ask, what sort of topics should we channel, and what sort of information would you like to know about. Would you like more information about the Mandela effect? What actually happened to the dinosaurs? What do you want to know? We want to know.